Hello and welcome to today's event. I'm Action Industry Marketing Specialist Jason Naxted, and today's event is introducing Focus BI for Infor distribution users and ERPs. Today's event will cover with why an ever-increasing business complexity planning your company's financial future doesn't have to be uncertain. With the right business planning and analytics platform, planning is faster, less of an administrative burden, and can be more connected to your entire organization. Little bit about today's presentation. Today, at the end of the event, we'll have time for questions. And it comes up, we'll have a little poll you can take. And as always, this will be recorded. So if anything you think you may have missed, we'll have that up on our YouTube channel for you to view and get all your questions answered, and reach out to us or the team over at Phocas for a demo for your future company success. Today's event presenter is Alexa West from Phocas, sales executive premier. So without any further ado, Alexa, go ahead, take it away.
Well, hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm trying to control these slides. Jason, it's not letting me click the slides. You might have to click it, but I'm Alexa West. I'm a sales executive here at Phocas. And for the past 3 or so years, I've had the privilege of working closely with hundreds of distributors. Oh, there I am. And I've been working exclusively for the past 2 years with Infor customers to help them explore and adopt the Phocas solutions. I also work hand in hand with our wonderful partner here with Action Associates. And they've been supporting Phocas as our go-forward BI tool for their clients. And they actually implement, train, and support our mutual customers. And then just to kind of go over a quick agenda for the day, I'm going to talk a little bit about the history and background of Phocas, what some of those common challenges we solve for when it comes to reporting and analytics, and how you could use our platform for not just your reporting needs, but BI for sales, operations, and FP&A together in a single platform. I'll ultimately dive into a great demo, which should be a good introduction to the tool, and then leave some time at the end for some Q&A as well. And then just to introduce you to a little bit of background about Phocas. Phocas, we've been around for about 24 years, and we're a global organization with our roots in Australia, the UK, and now the US. And throughout the years, we've expanded from an analytics tool to a full suite of a la carte solutions to solve a variety of different business challenges. So our sales, operations, finance, budgeting, rebates, you name it. We have a solution that can solve for some of the business challenges as we see with our distribution customers. And then we also have out-of-the-box solution for many of the Infor ERPs. Work with about 160 plus and growing Infor customers now using the Phocas platform. And then just a little bit about our great partnership with Action. Again, they implement, train, and fully support our Action and Phocas mutual customers. And no matter what ERP you're on today, we do have a solution that can get you up and running with a modern reporting layer. So working a lot with both the CSD and SXC clients, as well as A+ and Infor Facts. And the team really does have an intimate knowledge of your data and reporting needs, and that paired with Phocas makes for a really great experience with the customer. The Action team actually put together what they call an operational report pack as an option as well, because they know some of those key reports that you're wanting, they can deploy that right out of the gate and make for a really easy transition from your current tools to Phocas. And then a little bit of our history with Infor. It goes back quite a few years, but again, we've grown significantly within that Infor community over the past couple of years. We work with 250 mid-sized distribution businesses. Through working with these customers, you guys have thousands of SKUs, hundreds of customers, and across the board, what we've seen is teams were really looking for a way to get quick and easy access to the data in order to make better decisions. And that might be from, say, the sales perspective. You want to see value per item, your profit margins, opportunities for your reps, like spotting declining customer trends, or maybe even upselling customers with cross-selling opportunities. Or maybe you want to look at things like inventory, like what's in my warehouses, on hand, on order, where am I under or overstocked, what are my fast or slow moving items. And the teams I speak with want this information easily and quickly without really having to look at 5 or 10 static reports or having to go to IT to request a specific report. This tool really gives you that information in your hands. And also, I think the beauty of this tool is that all of your ERP data can live in that same BI platform. So not just your sales and operations, but your finance data. And all these departments can have complete trust in the numbers that they're looking at are all the same across the business, and can really help you drive your business as well. A little bit more on Phocas. So Phocas Analytics does seamlessly integrate with the Phocas financial statements, the budgeting and forecasting module, and the rebates module. So really giving you a company-wide financial planning and analysis platform in one place. And then we also deliver out-of-the-box solutions. So whether you're Cloud Suite, SXC, A+, or Fax, we've already done that work on the front end to develop a pre-built solution. So dashboards, databases where you can point and click and drill down, and automatic favorite reports that can all just give you a great starting and jumping off point, but also give you a tool where it's easy enough to customize and tailor it to your business as well. And where we stand out from a lot of the products is we're actually designed for the end user and designed with the end user in mind. So anyone from IT to your C-level to a sales rep can use the tool to get the reports they need without having to be technical or having to know how to write SQL. And I think, on the side here where everyone benefits, like the C-level and board level can have pre-built automated reports and alerts tailored to their needs. They can be informed and see things at a high level on a dashboard, but also have the ability to drill down and follow their train of thought through the data to find some of those things that they're looking for. And for CFO and finance, you can spend less time collecting, formatting, and cleansing that data, and more time actually analyzing the information and steering the business. And then for sales and operations, really just being able to dive into customer details, identify trends, and then being able to have insights and analysis of your performance, where you are to budget, et cetera. And this slide I thought was really interesting, and it demonstrates the importance of a tool like this and being able to easily access actionable data. Supply shortages, logistics challenges, labor shortages. There's a lot of things that can impact your bottom line, and easy access to accurate data is critical to make these kind of informed decisions. I know a big topic right now on a lot of the folks' minds that I've been speaking with is the introduction of tariffs and how this can affect our business. In fact, if anyone on this call is interested, we just put out a great article for Phocas on how the tariffs can impact the business. And Phocas can not only help you analyze your costs and margins, but our Phocas budgeting tool can actually help you take this data that you have and do some scenario planning to forecast cost changes, and model different scenarios and see how that will impact your profit margin and pricing strategies. And I'd be happy to kind of share that webinar if anyone's interested on the call. Maybe you can drop the word tariff in the Q&A chat, and we can make sure we give you an email with that information too. Okay, perfect. So I am going to get into the good stuff, which is always the demo. I think Phocas really is a tool where, once you see it, you can really see the value that it can provide and how you can get some of your key reports that you're doing today but also give you the ability to do some of that ad hoc analysis, find trends, make it easy to see things on dashboards, et cetera. So I'm just going to get everything pulled up here quickly. Okay, can we see my home screen in my Phocas demo environment?
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Great. So I thought I would start here today on a Phocas dashboard to give you a high level view of how you can consume this information quickly and easily without investing a lot of time. But I'll also dive into the out of the box or an example of the out of the box solution that we can provide for Infor customers. I'll dive into our analytics database where we can slice and dice and build reports on the fly. And I'll even have time to touch on a little bit of the financial tool that I spoke to a bit earlier as well. So here on this dashboard, I'm going to walk through perhaps putting myself in the shoes of a sales manager. It's the world I live in, but really you could have a dashboard tailored to any audience within your business. You can have an executive dashboard, purchasing, an inventory dashboard, et cetera. And we do give you a couple out of the box to get you started, but it's really a good place to see 20, 30 or so different reports visualized and really understand and improve the business at any level. So on the sales dashboard, there's a couple different examples I have, but I want to see some key sales metrics right at the top. So what am I doing for my year-to-date sales? What's my margin? How am I doing month-to-date with my margin and my sales? And this is kind of where we get into some of that trend and analysis with Phocas. So customers declining. There's 50 customers here that are purchasing less and less over a period of 3 months. You know, maybe this isn't the easiest report for us to pull today. Maybe we pull our lost customers report, but finding that trend tends to be a little bit more difficult. Or cross-selling opportunities. So product A and product B are typically sold together, and I'd want to find some of those customers that are purchasing one product category and not the other for a really easy upsell for my reps. We can even add things like stock information on a sales dashboard. So maybe these dead stock items, we're going to have a spiff, or I want my reps to sell this at a discount. But what's great about these dashboards is that they're filterable as well. So we can even drill down just from a dashboarding level. So instead of locations, maybe this is your branches or warehouses. We can focus on our US branch. Maybe I want to see who my top rep is at this specific branch. And it looks like that is Judy Kelly. We can focus on Judy. You can start to see some of this breadcrumb trail building out, but all the reports living on this dashboard are filtering to my clicks. Or maybe when Judy logs in, this is the view she sees because of those user permissions that we've given her to only see her customers and vendors. And maybe I want to see my top customer here. Let's go ahead and sort. Looks like Judy's top customer is Tallahassee. So now I'm looking at all these reports through the lens of one of my specific customers, how they're doing year to date, what's their margin, are there opportunities I have with them, etc. And we can also do things like averages. So based off of the average customer, this is my average value per invoice, and kind of giving us that benchmark to see, you know, this is a top performing customer. They have a very large value per invoice and per line, but their margin's a little bit low. And then maybe we want to dive into this report and see what products they're buying, where that's coming from. But really, we can add a lot of different detail, like what have they purchased this year versus last? What customer type are they? We can even do a heat map and see where that customer is. What are the different product categories they're buying? I just want to focus on their biggest category downlights. And basically drilling down even from this dashboarding level without having to look at a couple of different reports in Excel and without really having anything in mind. And I can just go ahead and hit reset anytime I want. And you're not going to break the tool. You're not going to click in the wrong button. You can get things at a high level, but also like an Etch-a-Sketch, just go back to square one. This is also a really good example of how you could add value with this tool at every customer interaction. Say we were focusing on that customer Tallahassee and we noticed they had an invoice that was 60 days overdue. We could ask our reps to go ahead and loop those into the conversation that they're having with the customers to be able to recover some of that cash too. So this is all just like a Phocas Sales Manager dashboard. I'm going to pivot really quickly and show you what comes out of the box with a Phocas solution. So I'm here at my home screen, and this is my navigation bar. And you can see we have our core products here on the side, our analytics, financial statements, budgeting, rebates. We even have a light CRM as well. But we also have all those dashboards that come out of the box. And most importantly, the databases. So this is where all of that data that we're pulling one direction from your ERP at the granular level and into Phocas to build up your reports, to build up things to add to dashboards, to build up favorite reports, automate them, and subscribe to them. So the sales dashboard, database here, this is going to be built off of your invoices, and it's going to take every detail from that invoice and put it in an environment where you're able to point and click and build those reports. Same with purchasing. We're taking data from the PO. If we're talking about finance, we're taking all that GL level detail in your chart of accounts and putting it into this environment to make it easy for you to build and run your reports and do ad hoc analysis. And just to dive into one of these databases here, and to give you a clear picture of how we got there, every single widget or report on this dashboard I can dive into. So this analyze arrow is going to take us one level closer to the transaction level detail and into this Phocas database environment that I already had pulled up here. But if we were looking at that year-to-date sales report that was on our dashboard, we're looking at all of our customers shipped to. There's about 1,200 of them. We're looking at a period of year-to-date, so January, February, and March. And then we're looking at our local value. So total local value is that $21 million. And let's say I don't want to just see it by my customer, but I want to break up that value by my sales rep. So there's that $21 million broken out by my reps. Or maybe I want to break it out by product class. There's that figure. Now I'm just changing the way I'm looking at that report. But let's say, these are basically our different dimensions, and these are different, I guess, categorical data that we're pulling off of that invoice. Product class, warehouse. These are all things you can expect to see with that pre-built solution, and this is all going to match up to your data. But we also have different filters here at the top. So instead of year to date, I want to see Q1, or I want to see a rolling 12 months. We can really easily and flexibly choose the time period we're looking at, and even choosing the variance time period that we're looking at as well. Speaking of variance, if I wanted to see my customer sales over the last 12 months compared to the year before, I'd toggle over into a different mode here for variance, and it's going to give me our current, our previous, and calculate the dollar and the percentage difference of our performance with these customers. I can also just hit total mode, and I want to show you our different measures. So this is like the quantitative data that we're taking from an invoice. So value, cost, quantity, profit, and margin. Let's go ahead and select some of those. So you can see we're kind of building out that report with just a couple of clicks of a button because all the data is here. And instead of saying, let's say I want to see who's my top customer, ASAP Metallizing, and who's the rep associated? It's Jeremy Kelly. Okay. What have they done in the last 3 months? And I want to see it by product. And maybe I just want to focus on a specific product class, like Lumination is their top product class. Now I want to go ahead and select product. So as I'm selecting and clicking, it's building out that query for me at the top to show me my clicks as well. And I hope that gives you a good sense of the navigation. Another important thing to note here is that all the numbers within Phocas aren't a mystery to you. So if I wanted to see what was behind this number for this customer in the last 3 months, I can go ahead and right click, hit transaction level, and these are actually all of those different invoices associated with that customer for the last 3 months. So all this granular detail is living beneath the numbers presented in Phocas. And through that implementation process, we do tie everything down to the penny. So you can always trust where your numbers are coming from and dive into this level if you need to. I'm just going to hit reset. A couple other features I think it's important to know right off the bat is we still give you all those great export features like Excel, print, PDF. You can email straight from this tool, but we can also go ahead and save any report we've run as a favorite report. And then from that point, we could subscribe to it. So Monday morning at 8 a.m., this audience wants to receive that report. We can absolutely do that. We can create an alert. So whether the number goes below or above a certain point, or any customer gets added to this list, we can also be alerted to things like that. Or add a report and visualize it and add it to a dashboard. Just to run through one example that I had on my sales manager dashboard was this cross-selling opportunity. This is a really great one that a lot of my customers are using to grow their current customers versus spending the time to find a new customer. It's easier to find some low-hanging fruit and grow the customers that we already have. And in this environment, we're in a lights and illumination electrical distributor demo environment. And I know that my fluorescents and my ballasts are typically sold together. I'd want to find those customers that are purchasing one and not the other and see who they're buying them from if it's not us. So I'm going to go ahead and hit matrix here. And this is like a pivot table in Phocas. So kind of taking some of the best of Excel and putting it into this tool. But basically what we did was we took these rows here and made them into columns. And these columns are going to follow us up to our clicks. So if I want to go ahead and see customers shipped to, maybe I want to change that time period to the rolling 12 months. Just give me a lot of data here. And now I can see who's buying fluorescents and who's buying ballasts out of my customers. And in order to find who's buying one and not the other, there's a couple different selections here. When I right click, I can go ahead and say fluorescence is equal to 0. And that's going to pull up all of those customers purchasing ballasts who aren't purchasing our fluorescent product category. So there's 20 customers here where I can go to my reps and say, Lisa, you have a customer. Jimmy, you have a customer. Go give them a call and see, why they aren't purchasing this product category from us in over a year. So that's just one way and then one way I like to show customers of there is like some analytic and trend finding capabilities within this tool that are really, really helpful. Let's see here. I think just for sake of time, I will pivot over into the financial statements. If anyone on this call is interested in seeing how this tool can go ahead and house some of that really important sales, inventory, purchasing data, but also have our financial data and kind of be that one-stop shop for our numbers here. But you can see that this tool is similar to the environment that we're just in, we have dimensions here on the side. So we can select account, category. This one has country and entity, but maybe that's branch and warehouse for your data, by department. And then we also have different filters here at the top. And we also give you out of the box a profit and loss statement, balance sheet, cash flow, and trial balance. So some of those key reports. But you can also customize and save different versions, like cash flow, direct and indirect. Maybe we have our profit and loss for the board. Or maybe you want to do a branch P&L for each individual branch. And even doing things like KPI reporting, where we can combine financial and operational data into these different KPIs that we can manage and put onto an executive dashboard. Lots of great things that we can do with this tool and can handle a lot of complexity. But for an example, we're looking at our profit and loss statement. We've built out this template to reflect what our personal P&L looks like and how we want it to look. We can go ahead and adjust these columns, and I just want to see my current versus my budget, and I want to see it for my previous month. And also, I didn't touch on this in the last piece, but there's also a visualization button. So I want to go ahead and visualize my sales figures to budget. I can really easily select through a couple of different options and add that to a dashboard as well. But I think a good example here is right now we're looking at a consolidated P&L. This is the entirety of the business, but maybe I just want to run that branch P&L. I can go down to my dimension for country. Let's pretend it says branch, and select my Australian business here. I can hit focus, go back up to my P&L statement summary, and I've just, with 2 clicks, taken that GL data associated with that branch and ran my branch P&L that I can go ahead and send over to the team. We can also do something great with that matrix button here is if I wanted to compare some of my branches against each other, what we could do is take all 3 of those branches, matrix them, and turn those rows into columns, go back up to my financial statement summary, and maybe I want to compare my my expenses across the board in some different categories for my different branches. This is going to break it out for us in this view so we can really dive into those details. So here's our total consolidated, broken out by our different branches. I have a question on my travel expenses for the UK. It's looking a bit high. Again, at any point, any question you have on that number, right click, go to that transaction level and see all those journal postings underneath all of those figures in your report. So I'm gonna hit reset here. And I think the customized statement features a lot of folks want to see that flexibility. So oops, let me go back to my P&L. And if I wanted to customize this profit and loss statement or see what accounts are being mapped into each of my categories, I'd use this button here, the customize statements. And I can build off of any of the statements I've already built. I can create a new statement from scratch. But I'm going to go ahead and select that P&L. And this is exactly the format and template of that profit and loss I was just on. And we can drag and drop. We can add different calculations here, different groupings, different headers or spacers to go ahead and give it that look that you want when you're exporting it from this tool. But really, our calculations are easy. It's total revenue is A plus B plus AZ. And these are our groupings for our sales accounts, our grouping for other revenue, and our grouping from grants, all calculate into our total revenue. There's a couple other examples here. And some key features that you'd want, like lower is better, hidden, reverse sign, all baked into this tool to make it really easy. And that's how we design that statement. And this is where we actually map the accounts to fall under some of these groupings in our statements. And this process you do when you're implementing this tool, you'll go through with your accounts, select them, and drop them into the right categories, and make it really easy. And only really having to do that once to build that statement, and then having your actuals refresh behind that statement, um, daily, hourly, whatever you guys would like there. Also, it's the end of the month. You added another account into this list, and I want to go ahead and find it. We can say hide mapped accounts, select that account, and make sure that it's being brought into that right mapping as well. All right, so that's the budgeting tool there. Or I'm sorry, the financial statements tool there. I might go ahead and pass it back to our slides here. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Are you seeing my demo slide again?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Awesome. So I figured we would go ahead and open the floor for a little Q&A if anyone had some questions throughout our time there.
Yeah, I think right now we're good.
Okay.
I don't see any questions in the chat currently. Right now, if everyone can see the screen, we have a little poll for people to take, and we'll go through, see what you guys think about that. So what is the most painful part of month-end reporting? Choose one: collecting data, reviewing data, reconciling data, updating minor changes, or E, all of the above. Give everyone a second to take that if they want to. All right, so Alexa, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, awesome. Excuse me, looking for my slide here. Perfect. I think there's a couple different slides here to show some of the comparisons to some of the tools we come across and across the board. Feedback that we hear is that Phocas is easy for the end user, easy to navigate, easy to build and run their own reports, and gives people autonomy with their data. I think this slide is really important because these are actual figures that we've gotten from our customers, and seeing an increase in sales opportunities through giving your reps like a customer scorecard, being able to arm them with you look at a glance at a dashboard and see some of the top up and top down categories and where they can kind of steer that conversation with the customer. I think spending time reporting is something that a lot of us can relate to, and Phocas really does cut down on that time to get access to these reports and to get the insights that you're looking for. Also, really taking that, I know IT tends to wear a couple different hats there, giving the end users an ability to dive into their data and run some of those ad hoc reports, or maybe they historically got a static report and they need to see it in a tweak in a different way, but they have to go back to IT to go ahead and get that. We want to eliminate any of that back and forth and just make it really easy and accessible for everyone. Reduction in inventory holding costs. Actually, when I was preparing for this, I was reading through a couple different quotes that I pulled from our website, and one customer stated that they had a 35% reduction in inventory holding costs through bringing in Phocas to help with their inventory and purchasing. And I thought that was really impactful. And then most customers I work with always talk about, for the financial side, the reduction in month-end close time. So being able to automate those reports, take out all that manual Excel work, and give finance a tool that can help them drive and steer the business without just sending out static reports. And I did pull a couple different quotes that I'll go ahead and read to you guys. But one customer said, before we had that gut feel, we think this is happening. Now we can look at the data and say, I know this is happening. we know that the problem is specifically here. I find it much easier to use than a lot of other reporting tools. Another quote here: Phocas is super easy to use. You can't break it, and you can do more with it than you can even imagine. And then last one, we have, we are 2 weeks in, and I'm already starting to see major benefits in the way I can see information and all the details regarding the sales data. Dashboards are a huge advantage, and I basically can see the performance of all of my area sales managers every morning. And the obvious benefit will allow me to keep very close to the managers, ensuring we all achieve budget. And those are all Infor customers that I pulled from some of those interviews. So, and really, in working with these customers, I think we've made a pretty great impact. And happy to kind of share some of those stories when we follow up. And I think you guys know enough about Phocas at this point, so we can skip this slide and hand the reins over to Jason there.
Right at the end there, we got one from David. Does Phocas depend on Infor's data lake? Any headaches for Phocas compared to what some companies experience with CSD analytics? Acknowledges that the second question might be sensitive, since you probably don't want to talk too poorly about Infor.
No, definitely. And through working specifically with Infor customers, it's something I hear. I hear some of those common challenges that customers are experiencing. Phocas does pull from the data lake for the CSD solution. But some things that I have heard is, reports breaking. And that's not something that you would experience with Phocas due to the way that we're connecting into the data lake. Happy to elaborate on that a little bit later too, if you'd like.
All right. Another question: if I upload data once to Phocas, will the data be kept in Phocas?
Yes. Yeah. So Phocas can store all of your historical data and then just continue building on it as we're doing those incremental refreshes and picking up on those changes. Depending on the volume of data, some folks want to go back a year and then have a cutoff, or you just want to have it continue building on top of each other. Does that answer that question, hopefully?
Yeah. Final question: how often does the data refresh in Phocas?
So there's options for that. I find a lot of folks want their sales database to kind of just be a nightly refresh and have that look back. But for an inventory database or your financial database, especially at month end, you'd want that frequency to be a little bit quicker. We can also do things like an hourly refresh and basically refreshing to the speed of that data lake and when the data is accessible for us. So I guess it depends.
All right. Well, so we've all learned a lot from you. Thank you so much, Alexa, and the Phocas team. So what makes Action unique? We're the largest Infor distribution partner in North America. We partner with leading technology providers like Infor to transform business operations for Action customers, deliver high-value consultative services addressing business process improvement, including industry best practices and innovative technology solutions. For ERP implementations, our proprietary lean implementation process ensures a successful go live. Who we are. Our company, little over 220 employees with more than 6,500 customers. We're a national ERP software reseller and IT infrastructure provider focused on the architectural, engineering, and construction, real estate, distribution, and manufacturing industries. 2 company data-owned centers, a top 20 VAR in North America, and we are actually now, more recently, a 2024 Top Workplace Award winner. So thank you for everyone for hanging out with us today. We know your day is busy, and we appreciate the time you spent with us. If you have your mobile device handy, you can go ahead and scan that QR code there you'll see in the slide. To get in touch, me, Jason Nackstead, Industry Marketing Specialist at JKNACKSTEDT@action.com, or Alexa at alexa.west@phocassoftware.com. Make sure to follow us on our socials, Twitter, X, and LinkedIn for events coming up and any resources regarding data, financial analysis, balance sheets. We have it all covered for you. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and make sure you subscribe to our emails for any upcoming events that we have that may be beneficial to you or your company. Once again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Alexis. And we will see everyone next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.